who is this person, the Sean Combs, that we don't know?
We have yet to find out.
This morning, watch how federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Happy birthday to me!
But all this is bigger than Diddy. The mayor and the politicians in New York City.
The federal government intends to charge me with crimes. These charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Everybody put your glasses up in the air. Let's take a toast to Sean Combs.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn.
Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned him down.
A nigga finna get loose. Huh? A nigga finna get loose. Huh?
These aren't good people!
A nigga finna get loose.
Major news this week out of New York, where now disgraced rapper Sean P. Diddy Combs was arrested and taken into custody. A grand jury indicted him on multiple federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. We're now getting a closer look at the mountains of evidence federal investigators collected at the homes of P. Diddy leading up to his indictment. This includes things like guns, ammunition, electronic evidence, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricant.
He has a big house he buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, attempted to explain away items seized during the federal raids. But a rep for Costco says, leave us out because they don't even sell baby oil.
One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for.
The court doc states these items were used in something referred to as freak-offs, which were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded.
So you feel like celebs are worried that they might be on tape?
Oh, they know. That's why they ain't speaking up or saying nothing.
These are the Diddy pictures Hollywood doesn't want you to see. Every A-list celebrity from Leonardo DiCaprio to Mariah Carey can be seen partying with the disgraced rapper at his various get-togethers dating back to 1998. Here's a shot from one of Diddy's white parties with Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton in the background. And here he is with Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore at another party in 2009.
Have you ever been to a P. Diddy party?
Yeah, several, many.
And so, can you take us through, like, what goes on, like, when you were there?
Money and sex.
So who was with you this weekend? A bunch of my friends. Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber, so far French so good. Montana. Do you even know half the people you're naming? No. She didn't go to bed. I haven't been to bed yet. You haven't? I want to be Clay when I grow up, Court. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. Go to this party. I think half the people there were butt naked.
You're legendary for the parties that you throw. Mm-hmm. What do you do to make just an amazing killer party? Because mine...
This is what you need to do. Women, beautiful women, of course. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course. We need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right.
You need some water.
For watering plants?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this. Like, a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, you know, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you talking about?
Depends on the way you look at it.
Depends. Oh, people start getting gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you sexy. New word for you.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't saying. No, it was a new
Sean,
party.
you're in my house now. You see.
You need some good music, and you need me, of course.
Yes, you spice up the party.
In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally.
They said some of these freak-offs will last for days.
That's where they're going to get him on the sex trafficking thing. Especially like if he was traveling and doing it. That's where the sex trafficking come at. That you hiring sex workers to come and have sex with your girl? That's crazy.
During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant.
So do you feel like people, when they hear pink cocaine, Young Miami has to bring across?
Wait, the 2C. So 2C is the cocaine, but they take the cocaine and they fold it into the coke. Now, if you don't know what cocaine is what they call on the street Special K. It's a horse tranquilizer. Now, gay men have been using this for years. See, back in the day, if you went to a gay party or a gay rave, there were certain drugs that you would always find on hand. Viagra, ecstasy, Special K, and cocaine. Now, see, the cocaine keep you up all night, but unfortunately, it gives you limp noodle. So that's why you have the Viagra, to make sure that the dick involuntarily stays hard while you're numbing your fucking self with the coke. Now, see, the ketamine, that's a horse tranquilizer, so that relaxes all your muscles. You could get fucked by 80 fucking ton gorillas. You wouldn't feel a thing. So now, your dick is gonna stay hard, you numbed up, and you high. You got the ketamine in you, so you don't feel shit. And then you add the ecstasy, and now you got a party.
Freak off cocktail.
So now, the 2C, they done skipped all the steps. They condensed it. So you got the cocaine in there, and then you got the ketamine in there, and they say that some of the dealers add the ecstasy. Now, the Viagra, you still got to take that solo. You got all of that, the gay cocktail, in the one thing. And the reason why it's pink is because they put the food coloring in it. He said he think they got it from the Breaking Bad. You remember how they was making the meth, and they made it a special color, so they done that with the 2C.
After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers.
Talia Graves was 25 years old, dating a Bad Boy Records executive back in 2001 when she claims she was summoned to a meeting with Sean Diddy Combs, given a drink that caused her to briefly lose consciousness, then awoke to find herself bound and restrained. Graves says she was raped by Combs and later found out the incident was recorded.
The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health. I've had PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin.
She would never have consented to the videotaping.
Graves' attorney, Gloria Allred, says her client first learned of the video recording last year, over 20 years since the alleged incident. They believe the recording may still be out there being viewed and asked for it to be destroyed.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No!
That he was recording these?
He is the J. Edgar Hoover of hip-hop.
But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct. Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really?
When you don't know somebody's taping you and you got that alcohol, you got the drugs in you, they're a little loose, bruh. They let down all their inhibitions. The music is pumping. He said it himself. He got it so hot in there that you gotta take your clothes off.
I've seen stills of the video. The other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
Because if he had 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched, and Brother Love was watching.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well.
It does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped.
But why do you think Diddy had all them hidden cameras?
Bruh, when you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having 1 or 2 or maybe 3 ups on somebody. He always played artists against each other. He did it to Big, he did it to Craig Mack. He did the stuff to Ja Rule so he could go after Jay-Z. So to have those cameras and know what he was doing is gonna give him the ups on everybody who came to that party.
So Diddy's business employees allegedly facilitated these freak-offs by stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs, resupplying Combs with the requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. These allegations date back to November of last year, when Cassandra Ventura, known publicly as the singer Cassie, filed civil suit against Diddy. She laid out some major claims against him, saying over the course of their relationship, Diddy physically and emotionally abused her, forced her to carry illegal weapons, and even made her have sex with prostitutes.
That this video you're about to see is extremely graphic. The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway.
What's your biggest strength?
My belief in God.
Best personal trait?
My compassion.
He was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeatedly kicking her.
Disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs apologizing in a new video. This after the release of that surveillance video of him attacking his former girlfriend.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
How do you defend against allegations that he hit, kicked, and dragged women?
He's not charged with hitting, kicking, and dragging women. He's charged with sex trafficking, and he didn't traffic anybody. Cassie Ventura lived by herself. She had her own house. She had a family. She had a career. She could have done whatever she wanted to do. All of these allegations of, I was forced, I was coerced, I had to stay, are nonsense.
When you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come in what they call freak-offs now, is that something normal that happens in Hollywood?
Yeah, everybody know that.
Final question, is there anything that you may want to confess tonight before you go in?
I keep everything right here.
There you go.
Or right here.
There you go. That's how you do it, right? Y'all have an amazing time.
The lawsuit was settled outside of court just one day after it was filed, but it was just the start of the wave of lawsuits that Diddy would soon face. Over the next few months, multiple other accusers came forward with civil suits, alleging Diddy's pattern of sexual abuse dated back as far as the 1990s.
What they did was, prior to the raid, they reviewed both of those civil lawsuits and found that there was some criminal activity in those lawsuits. I said if they really wanted him, all they had to do was review those civil lawsuits. And once they find the criminal activity in those, they could bring him in. Now, did the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Miami do it? No, they didn't. Did California? No, they did not. The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit, Lil Rod lawsuit.
A civil suit filed by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, brings these accusations into 2024. According to Lil Rod's lengthy suit, Diddy is the kingpin in a gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and sex trafficking scheme. Lil Rod also accused Diddy of sexual assault and echoed Cassie's allegation that Diddy forced him to have sex with a prostitute.
The contract that they gave me and the offer that they gave me was just disgusting. The producer fee, pennies. And on top of that, these guys are trying to steal my publishing. Doing this situation is not easy.
Lil Rod's lawsuit includes something else that may have piqued the Fed's interest. He alleges there are hundreds of hours of video and audio recordings of Diddy's illegal behavior. We now know this is what the Feds were searching for on March 25th, when they executed search warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami.
But all this is bigger than Diddy. They turn around and give him the key to the city.
The bad boy of entertainment is getting the key to the city from the bad boy of politics.
I want to thank y'all for this honor and just recognizing me being from New York, giving me the key to the city. Diddy finally has the key to the city.
It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City.
The New York Times is reporting tonight that New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal charges. NBC News has not independently verified that report, and the Times reports that those charges remain sealed. We do not know what those charges are and what they include or do not include.
My fellow New Yorkers, for months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. It is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Lisa Rubin mentioned there are maybe up to 5, 6, or 7 different federal investigations. What is the sort of pecking order of those investigations?
So it's possible that this is multiple sorts of branches of the same investigation, that in the course of doing one investigation, prosecutors stumbled upon other crimes and began branching out the investigation. That wouldn't be at all unusual.
All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning.
Just this past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner, looking for documents from 20 years ago, just 1 week after he joined my administration. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit. If I'm charged, I know I am innocent.
In addition to all this, investigators seized AR-15 guns, ammunition, and a large capacity drum magazine from Diddy's homes.
As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds, 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced.
Since those raids in March, federal prosecutors have been crafting their case against Diddy, which led to grand jury proceedings against him.
You're one of the first persons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that.
And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah. But is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now.
And then he was like, yo, when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out, nigga, we gotta kick it. This is okay. He telling me we gotta kick it and shit, and he was like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like, I pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck this nigga just said? I got the fuck away from him, because I was like, this nigga like a fucking, this nigga just tell me he'd take me shopping. And this is shit that goes on. But it's just a little fruit, it's a fruit pile. It's a fruit pile. Trust me.
Which is pretty amazing. You're kind of, in some ways, draining the swamp of Hollywood.
I don't have a support system of a peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way, according to them.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
Tell them about the freak off, Diddy Jr. Diddy Jr., tell them about the freak off. Tell them the real you. And while we're here today, what did we talk about? What did I ask of you? All of that is irrelevant.
So one thing that I've recognized is that LeBron James, despite saying all of this, is really mum on the Diddy case. I mean, if he cares so much about Black victimhood, you would think that he would use his platform to speak right now when the perpetrators are, his friends, allegedly.
Why haven't anybody came out defending Diddy? All these celebrity friends he have and nobody came out.
They brand. It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie with the kicking, the punching. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now these people are represented by a brand, whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. So to have those cameras and know what he was doing is gonna give him the ups on everybody who came to that party. Even your favorite basketball player. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. We know who said that.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Don't forget to put in the box.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Now let me show you this clip of him partying with Diddy dancing to a Migos song. Is it plausible that the reason that LeBron James is opting to be so quiet is because when he read that lawsuit and realized that Diddy had cameras everywhere, unbeknownst to his partygoers, is it plausible that he's got LeBron James doing something that he wouldn't want made public?
Diddy always been the type of individual that wanted to have ups on the next person no matter what they was doing. So he always played those kind of up games on people.
Is it plausible that Ye was right and the feds were using him to keep people in control by filming them?
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce, but they can't control me.
So again, where is LeBron on the Diddy thing? Because if you're telling me that you use your platform to speak out when there are Black victims, there sure as hell seems to be a lot of them when it comes to Diddy.
Folks, we're following the press conference in Houston, Texas, where two law firms have announced that they will represent 120 alleged victims in sexual assault cases against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
Usher deleted his Twitter account. He deleted a bunch of, I think, 7,000 tweets, and then came back a day later and he put, account got hacked, and damn, y'all ran with it.
A victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, although several of these events occurred at auditions, especially young people wanting to break into the industry in the promise of being made a star.
I just wish they would tell all these little niggas the truth when they court them with the record deals and the contracts and the chains and the cars and the girls. And I wish they would tell them the truth. Listen to me. All you got to do is let these 8 fuck the dog shit out of you tonight. I'll get all that for you tomorrow. Because that's what's going to happen. Like, why can't you be up front?
Another minor told, allegedly by Sean Combs, that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go. In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack, Faith Evans, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit. I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
My brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars.
I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle, and I saw it.
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
Nah, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
hey, it was curious. I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Like, people look at Usher, they're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Do you feel like people have taken advantage of you in the past?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, people take advantage, of course. I have a problem with trust, but then there's areas of, like, I do trust people a little too much sometimes.
Bad judgments?
Sometimes. I'm just working through, just kind of trying to figure out all that sort of stuff.
The first time you met Justin Bieber, this kid comes up to you. He's not Justin Bieber yet. He's just some kid. And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time. It also was Perry Reed.
So you were all sitting in a room somewhere.
We were in a room,
yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, and his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about.
What happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry. Nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said.
My brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out.
And you still took Bieber there. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler.
It's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. And we gonna go buck full crazy.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like.
I think boundaries, to be honest, is like key, understanding like there's people that play certain roles in my life and kind of just to let them play that role and not give them access to certain parts of my life.
What kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more?
It's a little dusty, but
Man.
Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. All right. And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay, I get the mansion?
Yeah.
I just want people to understand that perspective of my life, because I think there's a lot of people, they're like, oh man, cry me a river in your Rolls Royce, you know what I mean? I want people to kind of understand the psychology behind why I potentially could have problems in my life, so.
And if Usher knew what was gonna happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak-Off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him, especially considering that he sat with fucking Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's flavor camp? And his immediate response was, hell no!
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
See? So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours. Like, these aren't good people! He's a fucking asshole! And the simple fact that fucking Justin Bieber literally made a public statement and said, Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned it down.
So we had the idea of doing a version of the show with Justin in it. But I think Justin just wasn't really ready to, that's a lot of rehearsal, a lot of responsibility. I don't know if he was ready to do all of that, you know what I mean?
Why would he turn it down? Who turns down the Super Bowl?
So this is getting very interesting. People unearthing videos of Justin Bieber. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. The relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober. He is clearly very heavily under the influence at this party. And if you remember that lawsuit that the producer Rodney dropped against Diddy, he said that unbeknownst to all of these people, they were being drugged.
Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened.
It seems like you can't say no to Diddy. Why didn't he say no?
You don't go.
Even if you didn't want to do something, he would tell the individual, well, I got you on tape doing it before. And the person would feel pressured in having to do something because he already had him on tape.
You don't go. They gonna drug you. You gonna ask for a glass of water, it's gonna be laced with that Tootsie.
You should know that several of the individuals were drug tested. Drugs were found in their system. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, which is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Do you think that if you hadn't redefined what Jesus was, and do you think the person that you of then was on a path of self-destruction?
100%, yeah. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive for sure.
Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube.
It was dark, really dark. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone telling me they love me and just turn their back on you in a second.
It has long been suspected that the person that Diddy had under his thumb was Justin Bieber. We saw tons of videos. He was crying a lot outside of churches. He was finding his way back to God, but he was having a lot of emotional breakdowns. And what I sensed from those public emotional breakdowns was that he was coming to terms with the fact that he had been engaged in darkness unwillingly.
I took the time to resolve some things in my life, get some healing, some relationships.
But you came face to face with Billie Eilish. You're there and you see her and you see the way she's reacting to you. What was going through your mind when you saw that kind of reaction?
And so I just wanted to be a good example. It's hard because I want her to know that she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I don't want to force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? And if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah, I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
And so what I want to say to Justin Bieber and to everybody that's following the situation is that Justin Bieber is a victim. This was a kid who was intentionally targeted by Diddy. He makes it clear that Diddy is trying to contact him through people. And then we saw an entirely different Justin Bieber. We saw Justin Bieber who was always wearing sunglasses, who was partying, who was very obviously involved in drugs. He spoke at length about his addiction. And as these videos are circulating on the internet, I want to make sure people remember that and give him the grace as someone who has somehow survived this and is still very much struggling with all of this. For people to give him the grace and the courage to hopefully one day find within himself the strength to speak out about what happened.
25 minors over 2.5 decades ruins the defense that his attorney already went on TMZ to voice, that it was a volunteer, not victim situation. There were no penal code transgressions. It was a transaction amongst adults who just wanted freaky sex. That closes the door to that because minors cannot consent to any type of sex, period. Yeah. So if the minors are verifiable and believable, there is no defense to that type of rape.
In the indictment, you really don't hear much mention of victims. There are no names that are mentioned, and I believe that that's done on purpose. The prosecution wants to have a rapport with these victims to continue to get information from them, and we don't want to re-victimize them. No one deserves that. Doing this in an anonymous way is what we should be doing. Part of what took some time, actually, in terms of going through all of this, there was video evidence of these freak-offs. You have to go through now and identify everyone who is in those videos. And that really can take some time. It's a very tedious task.
We heard him say that some of the victims in this case have spoken to the FBI. This sounds so much more like a criminal enterprise than anything we saw in the R. Kelly case. So I'm not going to object to the fact that they're using RICO to go after him in the FBI. Your thoughts on the ramifications for the criminal case at this point?
I think it would only affect the criminal case as it pertains to these alleged minors. If the indictment does not have the minors listed, the law enforcement has the opportunity to re-indict. Even if the RICO charge is already dropped and an indictment has been dropped, and these individuals turn over additional evidence as associated with these minors, that the law enforcement can and affect that case by a re-indictment. And now you see more counts and you see more alleged victim, which is going to make it even harder for him to see the light of day as it pertains to a conviction.
I don't know that they were able to identify every single person that appeared in these videos, but I am certain that they were able to identify some of them. And those are the interviews that they did, and that's what ultimately led to an indictment.
If these people have it their way, he's going to be spending the rest of his life in the prison system.
So you feel like celebs are worried that they might be on tape?
Oh, they know. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not going to show it, but we need you to come and testify against Puff Daddy. That's when they're going to start talking. And they're not going to be talking in his favor.
So I really knew he was formally going to face charges on March 25th, the day of the searches. When Homeland Security searched his Los Angeles home, his Miami home, and his airplane, I knew that day by looking at the search warrants that this was going to come as a matter of time. And so it was time for Mr. Combs to come to New York, which he did.
I guess you might be wondering what Sean Combs' response to this has been. Well, through his attorney, Erica Wolf's response said basically Combs cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus. That said, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors. He looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court if and when claims are filed and served, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation.
He is presumed innocent until found guilty in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. Let's not forget that. But I have to say that the issue with the minors becomes a major problem in his plan of defense as voiced by his attorneys. Anyone close to this situation, the closer you are to effectuating these allegations, the more vulnerable you are to being prosecuted as well. We're talking about the bookers, the people who book the flights, the people who purchase the baby oil. The closer you are to the act and all the steps it took to drug those people and rape them, the more vulnerable you are. You have issues here.
Combs, who lived in this $50 million Miami mansion, is now in an isolated unit of a federal jail in Brooklyn known for miserable conditions.
Special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
He's going to have a big problem in the prison system. Puff always had a problem of listening to people that he thought that was less than him. And now he got to listen to people and having to listen to those COs and having to listen to everybody that got more power than him now. Seems like the tables is turning.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. 2 different federal judges denied him bail.
Is nobody not looking at how astronomical these numbers are? When's the last American we heard of that needed more than $20 million to get out of jail?
And he offered $75 million for sex trafficking. With having $75 million at his disposal, isn't that by nature the exact thing that they're worried about? If you have this much money, you could probably make people disappear.
He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could. Have you looked at the indictment? Like, he called some witnesses up to 54 times. Telemarketers don't make that many calls in one day.
What prosecutors were arguing is not only does your client pose a flight risk, because obviously he's incredibly wealthy, they were also worried about him being able to interfere with witnesses. And how do you assure the court that that won't happen if prosecutors are saying this is someone who's attempted to bribe security staff and has already threatened and interfered with witnesses?
As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon, Mr. Combs got on a plane, flew to New York. I called the prosecutors myself. I said, Mr. Combs is in New York. If you want to know where he is, I'll tell you where he is, but he wants to surrender. They didn't want him to surrender because if he surrenders, they don't get to tell the judge that he's a flight risk and he's a danger.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
You know, somebody who lived in mansions, travel all over the world, somebody who could go into any hotel, have any and everything at his beck and call. Now he's in a room, 10 by 10, if that, and he don't have his cell phone. He don't have no maids. The correction officers cussing him out, telling him all kinds of shit. And the inmates, everybody talking crazy to him.
They say that Diddy is on suicide watch, but he might kill himself because he is in this cell.
In order for him to get on suicide watch, he just can't say, I'm gonna commit suicide. He has to go through he has to have a psych evaluation, correction officer. They had to monitor him and see what he has been doing, saying that you're gonna commit suicide, crying all night, doing some kind of self-mutilation or trying to harm yourself. Those are some of the criterias. Everybody think because you were on suicide watch, you're in a good situation. Once they put you in suicide watch, bruh, you gotta go to like a padded cell with very little or no clothes on.
As I said, I believe that this was an operation, that Diddy was not at the top of this operation, that they are going to be very careful in how they handle him.
He better hope that they want to make a deal, but I don't think so, or they want somebody else. Even if he got something to offer him, you got to realize, bruh, you got drug kingpins, you got drug dealers, you got people who make deals, there's murders. They make a deal and they still get 30 years in the feds. What people don't understand is the federal guidelines is so different from the state. For that sex trafficking thing, you need one person, that victim, and then you got the people who is going to testify that he paid to come across the state lines. So they should have been trying to make a deal long time ago.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. Have you ever seen what happens to a rat when it's trapped in a heated environment? Claw eat its way through anything. Oh, Diddy, you should talk.
He has to put something together real soon and say, yo, listen to me. I know this, I know that. It's way bigger than Diddy. He got to do a Nino Brown. If you take this, I'll testify to you. I'll show you where they did it, how they did it. I just want to be free. Put me in a camp or somewhere. He'll take anything to give him less time, bro. He's not going to get less than 15 unless he give up somebody. It got to be something they really, really want from him, bro.
The only thing that he could do that would bring me satisfaction is confess to all of his sins and crimes, point out all of his accomplices, and create a reparations fund for every victim.
Jag, what does this do to the culture when P. Diddy is arrested like this?
I don't know what it's going to do. What I do know, though, is that everyone is starting to notice things that they didn't notice 15, 20 years ago. Suge isn't looking like the monster that everyone painted him out to be. And Diddy sure ain't no choir boy. The more we start to uncover things, we're starting to realize that whatever we've been led to believe, it's actually the exact opposite. I can tell you what I'm hoping it will do. Wake people up. Too many people were shocked today. Why are you surprised? Why is anyone shocked? See, this is the problem that I have. We put hero status on human beings. I'm not saying that human beings aren't capable of heroics. I'm saying that none of us are God. Because, see, to be a hero in this world, it gives you a godlike status. People begin to worship you, believe everything you say, want to do everything you do. You got to be careful what you call your people. Because if your people are a bunch of weirdos with a strange collection of baby oil and semen covered VHS tapes and white fingernails and no condoms in sight and STDs, like these are your people. Wake up. I'm just praying that they will keep him in, because I think that will give a lot of victims the courage to say and speak and come forward.
The fact that Keefe D is in jail for Pac's murder, do you feel like they may go even deeper to the 90s?
They have to, because that's the beginning of everything that's leading up to the tragedies that are about to happen now. We have to go back to the beginning.
Mm.